Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Osayiwa Mesale, and today, Gloria and I, we're doing this together. How are you, Glory?
I'm
In
fine.
studio.
I'm fine. Oh, well, I'm partially fine. Yesterday, I don't know what got into me, so I decided to say, let me exercise a little bit. So I'm feeling the effect of that today. I feel like I'm a robot. Like my parts, the parts of my body is not moving properly.
You'll be all right.
And I'm like, who
sent
sent
me?
me?
Who said? But somebody like you just need something light now. You don't need
Yeah,
to
it's actually
do.
something light
What
I
did you
did.
do?
Of course, like maybe stretch. No, I jogged a little, then did some stretches. Then there's just this. I was following this exercise routine to build like your abs, your muscles. So my tummy hurt so bad. Anyway, Sha,
It is well.
we'll survive.
Norma is joining us via Zoom. Norma Ifeanya, how are you? Norma, you will need to unmute yourself if you want us to hear you.
Oh my, I didn't even know I had muted myself again. Hi, ladies. How are you doing?
I'm
It's good to
good.
see you all.
Yes, so it's good to be seen.
Yes, Gloria, I sympathize with you. Like when you start that journey, it can be very stressful. Let me put it that way. Stress on your tummy walls and all of that. But I would suggest that you keep up with it because
Okay.
with time you build momentum and it gets easier. It's not
Okay.
easy keeping a lifestyle that is healthy, trust me, but
Yeah.
we're rooting for you. I made a mistake the other day and I climbed the scale. And I regretted it so much. I said, I'm not going to climb in another maybe 5 years.
Why?
Why is that?
Because I didn't like what I saw. And I'm like, but I'm not adding weight. I'm still about, well, I don't know what happened. But I think as you get older, it sort of gets even more difficult. Like, it's so painful with all the 10,000 steps I do every day. It's really disheartening, honestly.
The peace
But I'm good.
of the Lord
I mean,
be with thee.
I
Well,
feel you. I
see,
feel
I
your
bought a
pain.
brand new scale. The scale is inside the carton. I've not removed it from inside the carton. Because, honestly, because climbing on scale, long story. But today, right, we have a conversation that we want to touch on. And I want us to rush through all our what's in the news because we have two amazing guests joining us. We're discussing a follow-up of the Erisco food, will I call it the Saga or whatever. And here's what we found as today's quote. The goal of a company is to have a customer service that is not just good, but legendary. This was from Richard Branson. Now, the Erisco food controversy has sparked a national conversation about freedom of speech, customer feedback or consumer feedback, and brand reputation. Choma Okoli's negative review of Nagiko tomato mix led to a 5 billion naira lawsuit, arrest, and arraignment. So tonight we have a diverse panel, as I've mentioned earlier, to explore both the legal side of things and the customer culture and social implication of this case. But we'll do all of that, right? We'll do all of that and would employ you to also join us as we delve into the complexity of the online reviews, customer engagement, and the role of empathy and what's it called, resolving conflicts. When we open our phone lines, we would really love to hear your thoughts. But first, let's quickly run. When we come back from that break, we'll see what we found in today's news.
People are going to talk. They're going to talk about your product. They're going to talk about your service. They're going to talk about the brand you've created. So what is a brand? You know, a brand is actually not a thing that you can hold like this cup. It's an impression in the minds of people. So you want to project an impression into the minds of people and then sustain it so that it will make those people make actions which will translate into sales for you and an increase in the value of your brand. which is an intangible asset for your business. And then as a human being, you also have a brand. So you see that the brand Elon Musk is behind the brand Tesla.
So,
All right, thanks for staying with us. World No Tobacco Day, observed on the 31st of May every year, aims to raise awareness about the risk of tobacco use and the tactics of tobacco companies, while highlighting the efforts of the World Health Organization to combat tobacco epidemic. Created in 1987 by the World Health Organization's member states, the day encourages tobacco users worldwide to abstain from using tobacco products for 24 hours, supporting those who are trying to quit and promoting a tobacco-free lifestyle to reduce the preventable death and disease caused by tobacco use. So according to World Health Organization, Nigeria has an estimated 15 million tobacco smokers, with a significant proportion of them being youth and low-income earners, putting a huge burden on the country's healthcare system. I don't know about you, but I just cannot. I get agitated by the smell of tobacco, like the smell of cigarettes. It just puts me off, right? So as much as possible. I mean, it's clearly written at the back of the pack that smokers are liable to die young, or, you know, you're smoking at your own risk, and all of those things that they put there as disclaimers. But you still find people and, you know, indulging. And all those small girls that are doing shisha up and down, saying that they're not smoking tobacco. It's okay. But hey, do you have anybody that is a smoker around you?
yes, I do. And just like you said, I think you get to a point where you just accommodate everyone, even if you're not comfortable with it, but you just respect what they do, because they obviously know the impending dangers of that. And recently, I just think, like, as we are advancing in the century, people find more pride in all of that, like smoking, all of that, a sort of pride. So you can see that there's more awareness. However, the rate at which people smoke nowadays is rather on the rise, irrespective of the awareness that's been raised. So, well, good luck to them.
All right, quickly, Norma, what did you find for us in today's news?
Okay, so my news comes from Osun State, where we have that the Osun State government has directed schools to begin recitation of reintroduced national anthem. Now, this instruction was as with to follow up on the release signed by Permanent Secretary Ministry of Education Moritala Jimo, who obtained this in Oshobo on Friday, and this was the directive given by when the president signed off on the release for this national anthem to be put back in circulation as the formal anthem for Nigeria. But where my interest goes to is the immediacy with which this directive has come to the government. So federal, state governments are taking it up, and Osun State is one of the first to begin to direct schools to do this. And for me, that immediacy is what is very concerning, because in follow-up to this news, I want to draw attention to another news report that that was released in the course of the week, and this is about the groups that seek for urgent action for out-of-school children crisis. Now, this is important for me, because the fact that state governments are very immediate with their action in pushing for the national and the new national anthem to be part and parcel of everyday engagement. How about we also pay attention to the fact that 20 million schools, 20 million children are out of school. The UN Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, in partnership with the Global Education and Monitoring Report, have put Nigerians to 20.2 million of them children who are out of school. And what are we doing about this? We're very quick to bring action to something
Norma,
that may feel beneficial. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. I'm just trying to tell you, don't stress yourself too much. This matter, eh? We have
No,
said
I'm
it.
not.
We have
I'm
said
not.
no.
I'm
You
just
don't.
drawing
You don't get
attention
it.
to
So
it.
I get where what you're saying, and I agree with you 100%. Like we have a lot of pressing issues, right? That needs a lot of urgency to resolve, right? Or to even pay attention to. We're not seeing that action, and we're bothered about national anthem. So that's where I'm just trying to explain to you that don't overstress yourself so that we don't, but hey, you can quickly wrap up, then I'll come to Glory.
Yeah, well, it's just the fact that these numbers are really very scary, where you have up to 20 million children, of which 10.2 million of them are in the primary schools, and then about 8.1 million of them are in junior secondary. It just begs to question the intentions of the government, if they are true, if they're sincere, and if it is for the young, the youth of Nigeria. Really, it's really
It's a
concerning.
question that they will answer you, don't worry. All right, let me come to you, Glory, quickly. What
When
did
you
you
were
find
just trying to
fascinating?
tell Norma not to stress herself, I was just like nodding my head. Oh well, because my own news is also related to that. Because I'm just I took this just to have a good laugh because so it reads that the Association of Legislative Drafting and Advocacy Practitioners, a civil society organization composed of legal practitioners, has declared its intention to file a lawsuit at the Federal High Court to contest the recently enacted national anthem. Like, are people that jobless? Wow.
On that note,
On that note, let's move on.
my story is about the Erisco food saga, so we'll just quickly take that when we come back from the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
There are mixed signals coming out of the fiscal sphere. The promises coming out, the pledges, the announcement being made gives the impression that Nigeria's problem is not money, but how to spend it. Okay? But the fact that we keep trying to borrow and we are not finding a lot to borrow gives the opposite impression. So perhaps the kind of transparency that we now have at the central bank, we need it, at the on these fiscal and general economic, issues. Let Nigerians know, what the situation is. Let Nigerians know where the gaps are. Countries call upon their citizens to come and fill gaps. India, called on its diaspora again and again to send money back home. They sent, maybe 50 billion back home in terms of bonds, diaspora bonds to their government. So I do think that we can, more transparency on the fiscal and economic
conversation would need to continue, Dr. Ayo.
The president has made a lot of promises, to different categories of people. So much money will be paid to these categories of persons, some grants will be released to that category of persons. But we hear, that we are borrowing $3 billion US here, we are borrowing $2 billion US there. So on one hand, the announcement gives the impression that there is adequate money to meet needs and to give palliatives. On the other hand, continued borrowing suggests the opposite. So we also need clarity. This is part of the issues that maybe they need to speak to with some clarity at the beginning of their second year in office. Let's know exactly what the fiscal situation is. Only yesterday, the government was flagging off, projects that will run into billions of US dollars. And well, we understand that part of it will be funded by procurement, part of it will be funded by financing. The point is, what fraction is procurement, what fraction is financing? And knowing that our efforts to borrow over the past, 1 year has yielded very, very little benefit, like 5 billion US dollars. So how much financing are we getting? Are we talking equity or we're still talking debt? So basically, there are a lot of issues that are up in the air.
Absolutely.
That are easy to deal with if you can only spend a day.
All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, tonight we're shining a light on the Erisco food controversy, a case that has sparked outrage and concern. Choma Okoli's negative review of the Nagiko's tomato mix led to a 5 billion lawsuit, arrest, and arraignment. In the most recent hearing in court, her lawyer admitted that she allegedly lost her pregnancy. That pregnancy, she was carrying a set of twins, actually, because of the strain of the case. Now, despite this confession, she was still remanded in jail pending the ruling for her bail applications. Now, joining us tonight are our guests, Priscilla Amadi, a service culture evangelist, and Cynthia Yinkere, a certified customer experience professional and lawyer. Now, Priscilla Amadi has vast experience in the customer relating field, which spans over 12 years. She is also the founder of Service Culture Academy and Revenue Generation Consultant. While Cynthia Yinkere, in the past 20 years, has managed leadership roles in law, public relations, product management, customer experience, and marketing and communication across industries such as banking, fintech, insurance, health, hospitality, energy, and the retail sector. So I tell you today, we have a packed conversation. So as much as we can, let's keep our responses sharp, short, so that we can have in a lot, All right, so let me come to, because Cynthia is, Priscilla is here with us. Let me come to Cynthia, because they've not seen her face at all. Hi, Cynthia. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you, Priscilla, as well.
Thank you.
All right, so let me come to you, Cynthia. Can you hear me? Are you there?
I can. Yes, I can.
All right, awesome, awesome. All right, so Cynthia, when you first heard the case of the Choma Okoli's case and Erisco Food, as a legal practitioner, right? What was your initial response to the situation? Was it I can't wait to take up this kind of a case because everybody can clearly see that this is the joy of people that are working in the legal space. But let me hear your thoughts. What were your responses or reactions when you first found out about this case?
Okay, hi everyone. So for me, I'm more of a consumer protection advocate. So that's where my legal training sort of merges with my customer experience career. I just felt it was overbloated, and I absolutely thought it would die down and just fizzle away. I thought it was a case of using a hammer to kill an ant. And it was just one of them Nigerian, run of the mill, chase a helpless citizen sort of scenario until we started hearing, the impact of her life and family just a few days ago due to all the harassment. So it's become really amazing.
Absolutely. Let me come to you, Priscilla. I mean, you were on the show,
Yeah,
you know,
earlier.
to have the conversation, you know, and from the last time you were on the show till now, right, you know, I know you've been monitoring the situation very closely,
Yes,
right?
I have.
What would you say, you know, is the current state of this situation with Cynthia, what's her name, Chioma?
All right, there's been a lot that's happened since the last time I was here till now. But the latest great news is that she has been given opportunity to get bail. I think with some conditions, which includes dropping her international passport and also 5 million, as well as other
And she
conditions.
needs 2 shorties to also drop their passports.
Exactly. Yeah. And then we also got the update from the lawyer that she lost her pregnancy. As at then, the last time I came here, she was pregnant. Then by this time, she's no longer pregnant. And unfortunately, it's twins, 2 kids. And then we've had international communities get involved in this particular conversation. We've had TikTok videos on this, just literally making a joke out of it. And they cannot believe that this is happening about in their words, tomato puree. That's what they like to call it. But the fact is, what we've also had on the part of Erisco is that there's been claims that they have rebranded in the market, and some very, very smart consumers were quick to pick some similarities and posted it on social media. So this is what I report as seen on social media. So those are the dramas that have happened till now, but the latest is just basically the bill.
So we are talking consumer protection, right? And I'll come back to
Cynthia.
Pardon me, Cynthia, because I've seen terrible reviews on social media. In fact, there's a video I saw online. I say, even me, if I'm the company, I'll go and beg this woman that, please, whatever I did to offend you, don't be angry. Because she actually showed her son hospitalized for using one of those products, you know, in the US, right? I mean, these are things. So I went back to read the Chioma's matter. It's just sugar, right? You said, oh, this thing is too sugary, right? I think maybe it was the reply of when she now said, you know, tell your brother to stop killing people or something like that. Maybe that is when what they are now holding on to. But she was actually just genuinely giving a review, right? Is it that we as consumers, we don't have any right at all to even kind of like question what we're being fed with? The other day, Uti posted something on the group, how people are using chemicals to make ice. So now I've told anybody that cares to listen, if you know what is good for you, do not buy anything in traffic. Because what the people said was they are not able to get light for a while. So those chemicals, I mean nitrogen and whatever mixtures, quickly generate ice for them that they are able to use to then ice some of these products. This is directly impacting my health as a consumer. So you see people dying, you don't know why they're dying. So Cynthia, is it that we as Nigerians, right, when we encounter a product and we see that there's something wrong about this product, we're not allowed to speak up? We don't have that right? What does the consumer law say about us?
Absolutely. We have the rights. So we have a Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission Act that guarantees consumers of every product, service in Nigeria the right to give feedback, to give reviews, and to seek redress. So yes, it talks about, so the act is broad in its provisions about competition, monopoly, but it also guarantees the rights of the consumer. And before now, I see the FCCPC doing such great work in protecting the rights of consumers, even to the point of managing price manipulation. Because I remember when some stores were locked or some stores were giving some query and warnings about, you know, price manipulation around the time of the cash swap scenarios, cash swap issue. They are in Nigeria to protect the consumers. So as far as the consumer rights in Nigeria, there are consumer rights. But I think that we as consumers have to keep on sort of updating ourselves, creating awareness, and consumer advocates as well need to create awareness about these rights. Because when you look at, and I like the way you asked the question, when you look at the exchange between what I'll call Team Chioma versus Team Erisco, you see an apparent lack of awareness about the rights of consumers to give feedback. So you hear things like, he's done so much for his business. If you have 40 years work in a brand, how dare anyone talk about the brand? And I know that my colleague Priscilla would have a lot to say about, the voice of the customer. So as regards the rights and the legal implications of giving feedback, Chioma is covered.
So where were they? let me come to you.
Okay, Priscilla, I would like to find out, do you think that Erisco approach to this was extreme? Because I feel like the fact that they've held on this for too long or dragged this for too long is rather causing more damage to the brand. Because some people, I feel like, did not know this was out there. But now, because of how this is has gone viral, you have CNN reporting on it, you have other media outlets. Do you think this has caused more damage to Erisco as a company?
Oh yes, for sure. Not only has it caused damage, it has forced the company to activate PR and also forced the company to rebrand, right? Totally unnecessary. If, like she said, my colleague, Mrs. Cynthia, it was a case of using sledgehammer to hit a fly. We are in the customer experience space, and that kind of feedback is not what you go all out for begging. It's what you call the customer and thank. Because there are 1,001 things that could have gone wrong from production till when she got that product. So let us say the company actually had a certain concentration of that they are supposed to deal with. And then between when it was produced till when it got to Chioma, there's a lack in the middle. So if there was a very good customer experience professional or advocate in the company, the first thing you would do is contact Chioma. When you do that, you find out, where did you buy this? And then trace back the step
You
to
don't
production.
even know whether it was a counterfeit product. You don't know nothing.
That's my point. So instead of going on, oh, you are trying to bring down our business, because the fact is, like my colleague also said, customers have a right to not only question the quality of products, they also have a right to state or address their concerns. There are a lot of rights under FCCPC Act, that's the Consumer Protection Act, that protects Chioma, up to 4 of them, for starters, right? That protects Chioma already. So now let's leave the fact that it's protecting Chioma. There's the fact that she thinks that there's a lot of sugar in that product. This is a pregnant woman. We all know that pregnant women should be particular about the product they consume. So if she's raising alarm that, oh, this thing is heightened, what if there's in that particular can that she has, maybe the quality assurance was not okay and that sugar was actually high? Nobody bothered about the concerns of her health. Nobody bothered about the fact that she could have been consuming something that is highly detrimental to her health. Everybody's particular about the fact that this man is building a $40 billion or 40 years worth of company. Who is he building it for? Is it not for customers? Are the customers not supposed to be alive to consume these goods? So Chioma raised a very concern. And there's something you said in the following comments. If you read that comment, unless we are assuming that killing is one extra letter, because she used asterisks. And there is no court that she's not going to win that case. Because we all know that when you put asterisks in the middle, it could mean anything. So it is even the individual that was instigating that conversation that should have been picked. Because why are you pushing these conversations towards that place, right? She used asterisks, she put K
because
and then
her
asterisks.
first comment was very neutral.
Yeah.
And she said, please, is it only me or help me? So it was even a way of even promoting the brand. Go and buy it and test it for yourself.
Let me amuse you guys. Shortly after the Erisco saga, Gino had a similar situation on social media. In fact, the consumer did a videoed the product, and then posted it on social media. You should see the fantastic handling skills of the Gino company. Right? Gino not only followed up to this situation, they came to the consumer, they followed up, and then at the end of finding out what was going on, they did what we call in customer experience compensation plan. They gifted this customer a carton of Gino product.
It's all right.
The same similar, in fact, Chioma's own was just a comment. This consumer did a video and was just very not so nice to Gino. And then instead, they did what every professional. In fact, that particular Chioma's feedback is a gold mine for any professional that is actually into customer experience. It's a good, for me, I would dance. And then after dancing, I would call Chioma and apologize and offer to come see her, even find out about her welfare. You know, that 1,001 ways this thing could have been milked.
Go on. Let me come to you, Norma. God of heaven. God, Nigeria, abuse of power is horrible.
It's crazy.
Norma, let me come to you.
And that was where I was coming to. Thank you, Priscilla. I mean, it's just complete PR gone bad for, I mean, how could you not? And that's where I'm coming to, the abuse of power. So I want to push it both to you, Priscilla, and to Cynthia.
Yeah.
As in, for the lawyers that played a role in this case, for example, where is the abuse of power? Because I mean, from what you're saying, Priscilla, that Chioma is able to win this case. Why is this case still in court if it is not a case of an abuse of power? Because if the lawyers know that this is clear, that the customer is supposed to be right, there were better ways that these things could have been handled, then why did she have to be remanded in jail until unfortunate situations like losing her babies? And this is so personal now because I'm even a twin. So hearing that she lost twins, I mean, what compensation are you going to pay for that as a consumer, as a customer, and somebody who has been accused of so many things that are going to be proven in court as not true? So this is such a messy situation, and I'm just wondering how, from the legal point of view, how is this thing going to turn out?
Okay, you know what, Norma? Priscilla and Cynthia would answer the question, but we need to quickly go on a very short break. When we come back, I'll come to you guys. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, we're having a conversation around consumer protection, right? And we're discussing the Erisco food saga, again, because there are recent reports of, the young girl, Chioma, being granted bail and, of course, her losing her set of twins and all of that. So we had to bring back the situation. And we have our guests with us, Priscilla, and we have Cynthia with us. Priscilla is a service culture evangelist, and Cynthia is a certified customer experience professional. Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join this conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-8038-4663. Our phone line is now open. If you can, join the conversation. The number to call is 07025007749. All right, so let me come to Cynthia. Then I'll come back to you, Priscilla. On Norma's question, what do you think? Is it that the lawyers were unaware about the consumer protection rights that covers her? Because, I mean, I hear that she's been in custody since 2023, right? Since last year, over 6 months, right? If I'm correct. So if this consumer protection right is truly activated, and is it that the lawyers are unaware, or, why is she still... why did it take this long for her to even be granted the bail?
Thank you. Thank you very much. So what's happened is, first and foremost, not a consumer rights issue. So the IGP, who was petitioned by owners of Erisco, have decided to bring a cyber crimes act against Norma. Against Chioma.
Yeah.
Against Chioma. So that, changes the game entirely. So from just a regular review, which could have been seemingly negative and maybe libelous, and that would have even made sense if, for example, these lawyers, and by the way, so when a crime is committed, it is the state that actually brings up a case against you as prosecution. So the police is the police is the party bringing the prosecution against Chioma. So you see how it works here. So the police who have been petitioned, who are being used to drive the conduct, so to say, against Chioma, are the ones bringing the case and the charge of cyber crimes. I will talk about cyber crimes and the, should I say, vagueness, right, and ambiguity of that act.